How's it going, guys? I want to make a video review for the Moto G4 and the Moto G4 Plus. This is the Moto G4 in hand right here. So I'll give you a quick tour of the phone. So we have a plastic bag. If you watched my earlier videos, I had the white G4 Plus. So I got to use both of the phones, and I have to say the experience has been really good. At first, when you see the phone, it does look very bland, especially since the first time we saw this phone, it was in a crappy video, so the phone looked very normal. It didn't seem to be like anything special about it, really. It just looked average. It looked like just another piece of a slab phone. Also, too, we saw that the phone, there was no speaker. The front-facing and we saw the front-facing fingerprint sensor, so we saw that on the G4 Plus, which honestly doesn't bother me on the G4 Plus, it doesn't bother me on the G4, and on the Moto Z, and works even better on the Moto Z. But the G4, it'll wake up the phone and it'll put it back. It won't put it back to sleep though, but it does on the Moto Z. But it wakes up the phone pretty easily all the time, very accurate in any direction. The speaker is actually up here with the earpiece, so it's one sound. It's nothing spectacular, but it's not bad either, and it's front facing, so that's good. Front facing camera is really good. So you can see you can launch a camera that way, and one more time we'll go back to the front. 5 megapixels, pretty good. Shooting this with a Z4 with the Moto Z. Man, all these phones, I'm getting confused. But shooting this with the Moto Z, 1080p, 60 frames per second, so let you guys see that quality. Got an airplane coming. Look at a little ant over here. Yeah, it's not probably a good idea. I started eating a watermelon, kind of like left it there, so there are some ants, piling up. But soon after I do this video, I'll take care of that. But anyway, so back to the phone. If you like my icons here, this is the Ermon icon pack. And there you go, since there's not much on the phone here. See how they changed it up a little bit. Very close to material design, but just little tweaks that make it very interesting. I put Nova Launcher, but of course it comes with Google Now Launcher, very simple. Nova Launcher just adds a couple of extra things, like if you want a screen rotation, different icon packs, you want a different grid, so let's say you want 5 icons instead of 4, you could do that with Nova Launcher. But otherwise, Google Now Launcher is pretty good. So of course you lose swipe to Google Now if you don't have the Google Now Launcher. Look on the side, no USB Type-C here, which is sad, but you do get quick charging with the camera, with the charger that it comes with. The back comes off to show you the battery and the micro SD. And of course, you have the headphone jack on top, which is good, of course. But, the Moto Z Force don't have that, so people are going crazy. So, yeah, there you go. You got your headphone jack. Everyone should be happy. 13 megapixel camera here. Take some pretty decent shots. Of course, if you want like better sharpening and better focus, go with the Moto G4 Plus, because that will add that. And of course, more megapixels. So if you want more detail in your pictures, the G4 Plus will be the better one for you. With the addition of laser autofocus, it does, actually phase detection autofocus, it does help out a lot. Other than that, battery life is really good on this phone, and it charges pretty quickly as well. About an hour and a half, you should be fully charged. And even if you don't get fully charged, it'll be fast enough to the point where if you have to run out, 15 minutes on a charger will get you through the night. So that's really good about that. Overheating, it can overheat if you use the camera for too long, but most likely only if you're in like a really hot environment. So you just want to stay away from direct sunlight. And also you can try different camera applications if the Moto camera application is not working that well for you. But it works pretty well. It's pretty fast. You have a good amount of options. You can choose to pick anywhere, type anywhere to take pictures. You can change, you want 1080p 30 frames, HD 720p 30 frames, VGA, depending on how big you want the video. Slow motion, of course, QHD or quarter HD, 120 frames per second. And you can always hit the quick tutorial at the bottom if you want like a quick look at how the camera works. Shutter sound, you can turn it on or off. Quick capture, of course, on or off, and location if you don't want it on there. And of course, if you want to save the picture, right there it says phones, so there's no SD card on it, but if there was, you can click it and change to the SD card. HDR at the top, so auto on or off. Usually leave it on auto, it'll do a pretty good job. And there's auto on or off here for the flash, and timer you have 3 seconds, 10 seconds. Cool thing about this camera and the G4 and the G4 Plus and the Moto Z and all that, they take pictures right before and after the shot. So if it happens to take a better shot than the one that you captured, you'll have the option of picking between the two, which is dope. Of course, you hit here to go back to the front camera, but you can always just do the motion one more time, and it goes back in front. Then here you have your video, your panorama, slow motion, the professional mode. The professional mode I really like. It's a lot similar to the Nokia, if you can see that. Just made a video about somebody said that Motorola copied Nokia from the Moto display, but the Moto display is way more advanced than Nokia's glance feature, which was more of a screensaver. But this definitely came from Motorola, from Nokia. So I'm glad that Motorola interpreted that, which is cool. So that's nice there. And you can always go this way if you want like a definition, I believe. But yeah, you can edit them one at a time or all at once. It's up to you. Slow motion, of course. That's when you just hit the record. The one downside compared to like the old Moto application, you could always start a video pretty quickly just by tapping the video. That option is no longer available. You'd have to go here and go to video. But that's pretty much it for the camera. It works really well. And gaming is pretty good on it as well. You shouldn't run into any issues. Of course, gaming for a long period of time, you might have to put the phone down for a little bit. But the thing about it too, when it overheats in a spot where you're not usually touching, so it's actually not that big of an issue, even if you happen to be gaming for a while, taking pictures for a long time. Feeling the hand. This is one of the main things. Like, you know me, see all the trash here? We got to get all that fixed. It's beautiful out here for sure. And when the sun is out, you can even see the fish. It's freaking beautiful. Gotta take time to admire nature. If without nature, we wouldn't even have these phones, because all the materials that we get to create these marvelous devices comes from nature. So if we don't take care of nature, guess what? We lose awesome phones like this one. So think about that next time. So know that your decisions affect everything. Every decision you make is affecting somebody or something. So you gotta think about it. So once you start making those better decisions, you'll be happier, you'll live a better life, you'll be more aware, and that's a good thing. But anyways, feeling the hand, it's not the best, I would say. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. It's nice that it's not sharp around the edges. You still get a nice little curve, so it feels good to hold in the hand. One-handed use is not as good as I would like it to be, because sometimes I kind of have to shimmy to get to some certain places. But other than that, it feels nice. Definitely better with the case. So look at my Poetic Affinity case review for this phone. Get that case. With that case, it does add a little bit of bulk, but the phone becomes much more easier to use, much more comfortable. Add some grip, which is not much needed because the phone's not that slippery, but if you're using it one-handed a lot, it can be slippery, especially when you're trying to move, shimmy all the way to the top of the other side. Did for sure. For those moments, definitely get that case. But other than that, feeling the hand's been really good. It's nice to hold it, nice to make phone calls. And if you use two hands, you'll be fine with it. But if you're a one-handed user like me, then definitely I recommend getting that case. The buttons, they don't feel that premium, but at the same time, they don't feel cheap either, I would say. They're pretty clicky. I don't think I've had a time where I clicked it and it didn't come off, come on. I don't think I had a time where I accidentally pressed the volume button or it's never volume down or whatever. So, and also too, this is the way I like buttons. Power button right there with a ridge on it, which is nice, so you can tell the difference. And then you have the volume up and down button right underneath. And I don't mind that these are not separated, because you can tell just as soon as you touch it, feel it, and just go to the top to go up, go to the bottom to go down. So very simple. Motorola switched just on the Moto Z, which I had to get used to. So when I came back to this phone, I definitely tapped the volume button and waited for the screen to turn on, and nothing happened. But of course, just pick up the phone and Moto display should activate. And if it doesn't, just kind of shake it a little bit. But it doesn't know, it thinks it's still down, but now I put it down and now I pick it up, and there it goes. It's on, and then you just swipe from the bottom to unlock the phone. So Moto display is there, and of course I have the Moto application there. So that's for the picture, which I showed you. Moto display, which I showed you next. So you have Moto actions. You can also, if the phone's ringing, flip it for do not disturb, so you don't want people to to silence your notifications. If someone's calling you, you can lift up the phone, it'll stop ringing. So these activations are there as well. Shop for flashlight, of course, always works. Pretty reliable as well. And since it is a dual tone flash, you get some nice natural lights. The flash is really nice on this phone as well. And that's pretty much it for Moto actions. it's nice that Motorola gives you the option to have these features. Okay, 10 minutes about to happen. Look at that. Wait a second. I have to test that for 4K. That was random. I just shot a video with the Galaxy S7 Edge, and I shot it in 4K, and at 10 minutes it made me stop, and then I forgot this is 1080p 60 frames, so I'll have to shoot another video with this phone at 4K and see if it lets me go past the 10-minute mark, because I don't like being limited on 4K. It sucks that when I'm shooting videos with my Sony RX M4 that I'm limited to 5 minutes. It's not even really that much of a limit, it's just that at 5 minutes it just gets so hot the phone is gonna stop. So I hate limits. So I have to see if the Moto Z also limits you. As you can see, my hand's kind of a little oily, so it's showing up on there. So if you're a high maintenance person, get a case. But other than that, even without a case though, the texture that they pick for the back is actually pretty nice and it feels good. And it doesn't like make that weird sound. Like if you know the Moto G4, I used to do this with my nails. This is not as bad of a sound. So that's that. And you see the microphone there. So yeah, overall this one is dope. This phone is, you can get this one for $200. It is a really good price. I mean, there are some better phones out there in terms of like specs, but you know me, I'm not a spec person. Ever since the first Moto X, when they dropped down to a 720p display, dual core processor and all that, and the phone worked just as well, optimization is important here, and so is software updates, and so is working on every carrier. So this phone works on Verizon, at&t, and Sprint, so no matter where you are, T-Mobile, US Cellular, no matter where you are, this phone is going to work. So there's that. That gives it an edge compared to a lot of other phones out there, because a lot of them are just GSM. This matters more in the States rather than around the world, but I do live in the States, so I gotta say that. This one also will get fast updates, like the OnePlus 3 will not get fast updates. The ZTE Axon 7 will not get fast updates. That's just not what these companies do. They'll get updates to fix issues because they have skins on top of Android, but this one has stock Android, so there's going to be less bugs here. It's going to work better. They just did an article, Motorola phones are less likely to fail. Motorola, they're only behind Sony, so that's really it. And also they are fastest at getting the updates out in the States, well, everywhere. Fastest at updates. So guys, if you get a Motorola phone, you will get at least 2 updates, which is good. So you'll go from Android M to N. So you get Android N and O with this phone, with the Moto G4 and the Moto G4 Plus, and you'll get it in a timely manner. And even the phone is so awesome that even while you're waiting for it, because the Nexus will have it first, you'll have a great time. You won't be complaining too much, because the Motorola experience is great. It's an experience that no other phone still can, compete with, especially like in this price range. Samsung's phones, LG's phones, they're not doing anything close to this. Yes, it does like NFC and a compass, so there's that. So if you use mobile payments, you might want to stay away. But this phone is dope, guys. This and the G4 Plus, I recommend them each easily. They both have the same processor, same screen, same front-facing camera. The only difference is the back camera and the fingerprint sensor. And honestly, a lot of people can live without those, but they're still pretty nice. The camera on G4 Plus is really nice. The fingerprint sensor is really nice. I hated fingerprint sensors until Motorola got a hold of, started making the G4 Plus and the Moto Z, because they work so damn well. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. If you like the look of the park, feel free to check out my IG, Instagram at hearmeraw. So that's here, and then underscore me underscore raw. So 2 underscores and 1 underscore. Kind of like I am real, but so I changed it. So hear me raw. The raw food lifestyle, eating raw foods like bananas, watermelon, just eating foods uncooked. It's just so good. So I'm about 80% raw, because I like to have a lot of fun. But it allowed me to kind of like just get more comfortable and be able to find my voice and be honest with you guys. So this video was done in one take. There will be no edits. I don't know. I'm just going to update this one. I'm going to send it so you can see what the camera does on its own. And maybe with this video, I will update it and put it through. I use Magix 4 Pro, something like that. I use Magix to edit my videos. Maybe I'll see what the difference it will be if I edit it through there. If you guys want me to do that, let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, because all the videos I've shown straight from the camera on this phone I didn't edit, I just kind of uploaded it through the YouTube app. So yeah, let me guys know if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys on the next one.